Greetings, Mount Markham High School. I am David Flood. I know what you're thinking. Who's David Flood? I know none of you know me. Maybe one, two? No. Who am I kidding? None of you know me. I am a youth speaker, and I speak in middle schools and high schools all over the country. Last year, I think I spoke in 102 or 103 schools. I've been in 500 or 600 in the past 5 or 6 years. And I live in downstate New York. I live on Long Island. And I sent an email out because kids in New York State are so super important to me. I've lived here all my life. And I know where you are in upstate New York. You're not North Country, right? You have to be north of Utica to be North Country. And I know people in the North Country get offended if you call them upstate New York. They say, no, Dave, this is North Country. I know where you are. You're north of me. You're south of Utica. You're west of Albany. No, wait, you're west of, no, I'm cheating now. Yes, you are. You're west of Albany, and you're east of Syracuse. See, I know exactly where you are. I haven't driven past your school, but I've spoken within 30 or 40 miles of your school. Obviously haven't spoken at Mount Markham yet, but I know where you are. And I love kids in upstate New York and the North Country, of course. So I reached out to a lot of principals around, all principals around the state in high schools, and I reached out to Mr. Zampetti asking if they'd like to have a video for their seniors, trying to encourage them and cheer them up a little bit, because if they're losing and missing out on a lot of end-of-year events, prom, graduation, end-of-year dances, get-togethers, etc., barbecues, whatever you typically have at Mount Markham. And he reached back to me through Mrs. Dickens and said, David, absolutely, we'd love a video from you, even though none of our kids know you. That would still be awesome. So, and then I reached back to Mrs. Dickens and said, can I make the video for the entire student body? And she said, sure. But of course, it's mainly going to be for the seniors. So just so you guys know a little bit about my background, and I'm going to try and keep this under 10 minutes, which would be amazing because I can't really say hello to anybody in 10 minutes. As I said earlier, I speak in middle schools and high schools all over the country. And the reason that I do that is that the reason I was compelled to do that is I have a son named Justin who has autism. And Justin struggles tremendously with making connections with people. And I give challenges to kids when I speak in schools. I talk about dignity, respect, and compassion. So I want to tell you all what my challenges are, the challenges that I give to kids in schools, and then I'll try and give a message to your seniors, but really which is applicable for all of you. So the first challenge that I give in schools is to look on the inside of people and not judge people by the outside, because when it comes right down to it, we're all alike on the inside. No matter where we live, what religion we practice, where we grew up, what ethnicity we are, what color our skin is, it doesn't matter. We're all alike on the inside. And if this pandemic doesn't absolutely prove that, I don't know what could. Because I'm just like you, and your family's just like my family. We're all susceptible to getting sick. So we're all alike on the inside. So what does that do for me, Mr. Flood? When I accept that I'm like someone else on the inside? Well, it should enable you to go to a place of empathy and compassion a lot quicker. When you think that person's just like me, you should have empathy and compassion for that person, because you would want them to have it for you as well. So look on the inside of people. Second challenge that I give to kids when I'm in schools is to connect with, say thank you to, and show respect for two adults in the building. I guarantee you that none of your teachers had ever taught remotely before. Maybe a few of them had a little bit of experience. And I hope now, after 2 months of this craziness that we're going through, that they've got some traction and that they're doing better. But you have to understand, guys, teachers, where before they used to be able to separate their home life from their school life, now everything's at home. They could have a spouse at home. They could have children who are younger than you at home, or your age, who they have to help navigate and get them educated online. They could have pets. And not a lot of teachers have a room they can lock themselves in to get away from people. Maybe some do. I'm sure most of them would like to have that. I love teachers. So please stay connected. Don't you want to be, and seniors, of course, you're not going to be back next year, but don't you want to be the person when you get back to school that the teacher looks at you and says, hey, thank you for showing up, not physically, but showing up online and handing your stuff in on time and helping me, navigate that technology thing, and always being present and getting, showing up to the Zoom room or however you're connecting with your teachers, early and helping me and being there for me. They need you now more than ever, and just like you need them. So thank to adults. Show respect. Stay connected to adults in the building, counselors, administrators, whoever that might be. And the third challenge I give in schools is one that you really can't take now, but I'm going to ask you to do something else. So the third challenge I give when I speak in schools is that no one should eat alone. You know, as I told you about my son, Justin used to eat alone in school every day in middle school and high school. And I swore that if I ever got a chance to go out and talk in schools, I would tell kids no one should have to eat alone. The challenge I would give to you guys and girls now is think of a kid in your school who was isolated when school was in session, and think about how doubly isolated they are now because they have no one to connect with. Reach out to somebody. Text, a phone call, an email, a Snapchat, an Instagram message, send a carrier pigeon to their house, write them a letter, send them a short video. It doesn't matter. You know, we're losing people because of this virus. People are getting sick, people are dying. We'll let the medical people take care of that. There's something that you can help with. Let's not lose anybody to sadness, loneliness, isolation, and depression. Those are things that are not simply overcome, but certainly a phone call can bring someone out of, that you're thinking of someone, that can bring somebody out of a really dark place. So please, please, please reach out to people that you know might be isolating. And if you're a person who's isolating, make sure you reach out. One more thing I want to say to you before I give a message to the seniors. I want you to ask yourself a question. How are you going to come out of this time that we're in, this isolation? How are you going to come out of this? Because you could come out about the same, about the same type of person, or you can come out a better person. Not better than anyone else, but a better version of yourself. How do we do that, Mr. Flood? Well, if you work on yourself, if you read, study, meditate, pray, connect, forge better and stronger bonds and connections with people, you can come out of this a better person. Again, not better than anyone else, but a better version of yourself. Because you're not distracted. You have so much time now. There's no sports, and sports aren't a distraction. They're a good thing, of course, but there's nothing else to do but work on yourself and forge stronger bonds with people. What else are you doing? So work on yourself. Come out of this a better person. Be better for this. Which leads me into my message for the seniors. If you are sad, name that. Share that with someone. Don't let your sadness turn to anger or depression, because sadness for me can go there very, very quickly. When I'm sad, I can get, to a place of real sadness, deep sadness that debilitates me and affects my mood and the way I speak and the way I act and the way I interact with other people. So make sure you're naming that and talking to people about it. And I grieve. I know when you're 16, 17, you're 18 years old, to lose your prom, graduation, whatever you guys are losing. I don't know what the situation is in upstate New York, but whatever you're losing, I grieve that with you. I'm friends with a lot of principals around the country, and one of my closest friends is a high school principal here in New York, where we live right around the corner from each other. And we walk fairly often in the morning, 2 or 3 days a week. And every other day, one day he tells me, Dave, my teachers are struggling. The next day he tells me, Dave, my students are struggling. But when we walked the other day, I said to him, John, are you taking input from your seniors about what they'd like to do at the end of the year if there's no prom and graduation? And he said, absolutely I am. Taking input from everybody, but especially the seniors. And he said they are resolute and they are unified in their message. They don't care about the prom. They don't care about graduation. All they want is to get together with their friends one more time, preferably at the school. And he said, I will do everything physically possible to do that. And I'm sure that Mr. Zampetti and all the people that he's consulting with, and Mrs. Dickens and PTA and the school board and superintendent, everybody there will take input from you guys and do something for you to show you that they care about you and to acknowledge your accomplishments in the end of the year, and they'll do that in a safe way. I promise you that. I promise you that. So, and the last thing I want to say to you is, I'm not the guy, because I know a lot of people have probably said this to you, you should be grateful for what you had, you're alive, you didn't get sick, and our family is healthy and all those things. I'm not going to be that guy, because I'm sure you've heard that from a lot of people. But I will tell you this. In your life, there will be births and there'll be deaths. There'll be marriages and there'll be divorces. There'll be new jobs and there'll be loss of jobs. There'll be graduations and birthdays and ceremonies, and there'll be missed graduations and birthdays and ceremonies. And this is a big deal. I get it. But when you can put some time between you and what's going on, this doesn't sound good or feel good when you're going through it. I get it. But when you can put some time between yourself and this, I hope, I know that you'll be able to look back and say, I'm a better person for having gone through that. I can use that in my future. I've gone through that. I can go through anything. And this is unprecedented. Not even people who went through World War II experienced anything like this. This is unprecedented. But if you work on yourself and self-improvement, you will come out of this a better person, not better than anyone else, better version of yourself, and you'll be able to use this down the road. I promise you that. I hope I get a chance to come to Mount Markham someday. Seniors, I don't know where I would run into you, but maybe someday I run into you in a Dunkin' Donuts or a Starbucks or a Panera or somewhere upstate, downstate New York, and you might remember that I sent you this video. So I hope so. But and the rest of the school, I hope you guys are all well and have a somewhat of a celebratory end of the year, and try and have an awesome summer and look forward to the future, because the future is absolutely positively bright. Have a great day, Mount Markham. Hope your families are all healthy and well.